The stars were quiet, too quiet. Across the galaxy, every major alien species was celebrating. Flags of peace waved in orbit above homeworlds. Fireworks lit the skies. Great feasts were held in every capital city. The Galactic Council had done it. After centuries of war, hatred, and endless battles, they had achieved peace. The announcement echoed through every channel, every screen, every communicator. The wars were over. The bloodshed had ended. But one species didn't celebrate like the others. Humanity watched in silence. Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge of her ship, Horizon's Edge, and stared at the Council's broadcast. Her crew was quiet, too. No one smiled. The speech from Council High Lord Rithen sounded perfect, almost too perfect. Together we have ended war. From this day forward we walk as one united galaxy. His voice was calm, his face peaceful. But to Alara, his eyes looked wrong, cold, calculated, like someone who had just pulled off a trick no one else could see. Alara had been in the military for 15 years. She had seen what war looked like, and what peace didn't. This peace didn't feel right. It had happened too fast. The Council had never truly trusted each other before. They had been enemies for so long. How could they all suddenly become friends, especially without including Earth in the early talks? Humanity had been fighting alongside many of these species for decades, but still, they were left out until the final week, invited only at the end. That alone was suspicious. She turned to Commander Rain, her second in command. "What do you think?" she asked quietly. Rain shook his head. "It doesn't feel real," he replied. "Like a play. Everyone's acting. And we're the only ones who didn't get a script." Alara nodded. That's exactly how it felt. Something was hidden beneath this piece. Something big, and she had to find out what it was. Later that night, after the broadcast ended, Alara went to the ship's data core. She sent a secure message to Earth's Defense Command. In it, she requested permission to launch a hidden probe toward the Outer Rim, an area known as Dead Space. No ships went there anymore. It was abandoned after the last war. But Alara had a feeling. If the Council was planning something, they wouldn't do it in plain sight. They'd hide it where no one looked. Dead Space was the perfect place. The next morning, her request was approved, quietly. No official records. No public mention. The probe was launched in total silence. It slipped through space like a ghost, carrying top-level sensors and stealth tech. It would take several days to reach its destination. Until then, Alara could only wait. But she didn't wait idly. Back on Earth, some leaders began to ask questions. Why had humanity been invited so late? Why were certain trade routes suddenly closed? Why were some Council fleets moving strangely near unimportant sectors? Little things. But when added together, they painted a picture that didn't match the Council's message of peace. In a hidden meeting at Earth's command bunker, General Marcus Thorne listened to Alara's report. He was old, hard-faced, and had served in the last 3 major wars. He trusted Alara. "Keep digging," he told her. "If you're right, we'll need to act fast, but until then, we stay quiet." And so, humanity stayed quiet. The rest of the galaxy drank and danced in celebration. Council leaders appeared on every news feed, smiling, holding hands, and praising their new age of unity. Their words sounded sweet, too sweet, like a lie coated in honey. 3 days later, the probe neared Dead Space. It began picking up strange signals, weak, scrambled, and hidden. But human tech was built for this. The probe cracked through the noise and sent back its first images. Ilara's blood turned cold. The probe had found something. In a dark corner of space, far from any planet or station, massive ships were being built, Council ships, but not listed in any public records. These weren't patrol vessels. They were warships, big ones, and they were almost finished. The signals it caught weren't trade messages. They were military orders, commands, test drills, battle plans. Ilara stared at the images on her screen in silence. She zoomed in on a symbol painted on one of the ship's hulls. It was the crest of the Valkyrie, one of the strongest council races. Just last week, their leader had spoken of love and peace. Now his people were building weapons in secret. She forwarded the images to Earth Command with a single message. "Peace is a lie." The reply came within minutes. "Confirmed. Continue surveillance. Do not alert the crew." Ilara felt a heavy weight settle in her chest. She looked out the ship's window at the stars. They still looked peaceful. But now she knew better. Somewhere in that cold darkness, enemies were preparing for war under the mask of peace. And soon, the first strike would come. But this time, humanity would be ready. The probe sent by Captain, Ilara moved carefully through the dark edges of the galaxy. The area was called dead space for a reason. No ships traveled there, no communications passed. It was the perfect place to hide secrets. The probe's sensors scanned quietly, sending data back to Earth. Then, the impossible happened. A faint signal appeared on the screen. It was hidden deep in the noise, scrambled and coded. At first, the humans thought it was just a glitch. But the signal repeated again and again, a message trying to break through the silence. Ilara watched the screen with growing fear. "Play it again," she said. The engineers worked fast. They cleaned the noise and decoded the strange transmission. The message was not a greeting, not peace. It was a military code, orders, coordinates, instructions to prepare weapons and fleets for attack. "This is war talk," whispered one officer. The council lied. Ilara didn't waste time. She sent a secret report to Earth's top leaders. "The peace treaty is a setup. Some council members are preparing for war in dead space." But when the report reached the Galactic Council's representatives, they all denied it. They called Earth paranoid. The other species laughed. "Humans are just scared animals," they said. "Peace is real. War is over." The council held a press conference. Councillor Varek, a strong voice from the Soren species, said, "Earth's leaders spread lies to cause panic. Trust the council. Trust the peace." But Ilara and her crew knew better. Behind closed doors, they began secret training missions. New weapons were built. Ships were upgraded. Every day they prepared quietly. Some of Ilara's friends worried. "Why risk everything? What if we are wrong?" they asked. But she only shook her head. "We are not wrong. If we don't prepare, we die." Meanwhile, the probe continued to send back more details. The warships under construction were huge, built in secret shipyards hidden inside asteroids. Their weapons were unlike anything humans had seen. Energy beams that could destroy entire cities in seconds. Ilara stared at the images, feeling a cold anger growing inside her. The Council had fooled the galaxy. They wanted peace to lower their enemy's guard, and then they would strike. But Earth would not be caught. Not this time. She made one last call to Earth Command. "We don't have much time. Prepare for war. Humanity stands alone. For now." Outside the ship's window, the stars shone brightly. The galaxy believed in peace. But the darkness was growing, and soon it would burst into fire. The galaxy was still celebrating peace when the first signal disappeared. A human colony on the edge of known space stopped sending messages. At first, no one noticed. Then, one by one, 9 more colonies went silent. No calls, no distress signals, nothing. Captain Ilara's ship was the first to arrive near the dark colonies. What she saw made her blood run cold. Cities burned, spaceports were destroyed. Ships were wrecked in orbit, no survivors. The signs left behind were strange, symbols painted in ash, symbols belonging to council member races. The council was quick to speak. They blamed pirates, criminals who want to ruin. Peace, they said. The galaxy listened. The Council's story was simple and easy to believe, but Ilara and her team knew better. This is not piracy, she told Earth Command. This is war. The Council has betrayed us. Earth declared a state of emergency. Ships scrambled to defend the remaining colonies. But the Council's fleets moved with strange precision, blocking help from arriving. Ilara met with General Thorne in the war room. They planned this from the start, he said. The peace treaty was a trap to make us weak. Earth began to prepare for the worst. New orders came to the fleets. Defend at all costs. No retreat. Meanwhile, Counselor Varric addressed the galaxy again. Humanity is the enemy, he said. They want war. They refuse peace. We fight to protect the future. But Ilara was ready. Her ships were faster, stronger, and smarter. Earth's secret weapons, built in silence, were now unleashed. The first battle began. Enemy ships attacked Earth's outposts. Explosions lit the black sky. Human pilots fought with courage and skill. For every ship lost, 2 enemy vessels were destroyed. But Ilara knew this was only the beginning. The real war was coming. The Council's betrayal was deep and dark. The silence between battles, she sent a message to the galaxy. The Council lied. We fight not for power, but for survival. The stars watched. The peace was gone. And the war had begun. The war was no longer just in space. It had come to Earth's doorstep. Captain Ilara sat in her ship's command room, eyes sharp on the data screens. The attacks on colonies were only the start. Strange things were happening inside Earth's own ranks. Supplies went missing. Secret plans were leaked. Communications were jammed at key moments. General Marcus Thorne called an emergency meeting. "We have a spy," he said grimly. "Someone working for the Council's traitors. Someone who wants us to fail." Ilara's heart tightened. She trusted her crew, but trust was fragile now. Every message, every action was under suspicion. They began a quiet hunt for the traitor. Every officer was watched. Every conversation was recorded. But the spy was clever, always one step ahead. Meanwhile, the Council's warships moved closer to Earth. Their weapons grew more deadly. The galaxy's great peace had shattered, replaced by fire and fear. Ilara worked with Earth's scientists to test new defenses. They created energy shields strong enough to stop the biggest blasts. New ships were built in secret, fast, deadly, and silent. One night, as Ilara reviewed reports, a warning flashed on her screen. The spy had been found, someone very close. She called a secret meeting with General Thorne and Commander Rain. "We have to act fast," she said. "If the spy leaks our plans again, we lose everything." The spy was captured quietly. In a dark room, under the glow of red lights, the truth came out. He was a Council agent, sent to destroy Earth from within. His mission: sabotage weapons, spread lies, and weaken humanity's defense. Ilara stared at him. "Why?" she asked. The spy smiled coldly. "Because your peace is a threat to the Council. Because you alone see the truth." The war had become a game of shadows. Every move was a risk. But Ilara knew one thing. If humanity fell now, the whole galaxy would fall with them. The stars were quiet after the great battle. Earth had won, but at a heavy cost. Thousands of lives were lost. Cities were damaged. The world was still healing. "Captain." Ilara stood on a high platform, looking out at the people. They were tired, but stronger than ever before. General Thorne walked beside her. "We survived, but now the galaxy watches us. They wait to see what we do next." Ilara nodded. "Then, we'll show them." Across the galaxy, many species had watched the war in silence. Some had believed the Council's lies. Others had stayed out, afraid to choose a side. Now they knew the truth. Earth sent a message, not just through words, but through action. Human ships arrived at Council bases. They didn't attack. They landed, stepped out, and showed the survivors mercy, food, medicine, peace. But they also showed strength. In orbit around every Council capital, human warships hovered, silent and powerful. A warning. Never try to break us again. Ilara gave a speech, broadcast across every world. We did not start this war, she said, but we ended it. You saw how far we would go to protect our people. Next time there won't be a warning. Her voice was calm, but behind her were the flames of wrecked Council ships, proof of what humans could do. Some planets bowed to the Council out of fear, but now they looked to Earth with respect. We want peace, Ilara said. Real peace, not one controlled by lies. Stand with us, or stand aside. A new alliance began to form, one not led by power, but by truth, and at the heart of it stood humanity. The Council was broken, their leaders vanished, their armies shattered. The traitors who had planned Earth's fall were gone, defeated by those they had mocked. From the edge of the galaxy came whispers, "Don't cross the humans. They see everything. They remember everything." And deep in space, a new monument was built, a single line carved in metal, glowing bright. We warned you. Now, never forget.